All right, I will get started on the hour here. And welcome everyone to our July monthly webinar for NeuralSeek. My name is Jordan France. I am part of the development team here at NeuralSeek, as well as part of the go-to-market team. So I'll be your host as we walk through our webinar. There's a lot of new exciting releases from the month of July and towards the end of June as well that I have to update you on with the product itself. So I'll go ahead and get tech set up, screen share enabled, and let's dive into the product. All right. Let me hide some of these floating meeting controls. Make sure my second monitor is nice and up and charged, and make sure that my screen share is looking good. So I'll start with something a little bit different, starting with the NeuralSeek documentation site, just so you can follow along. Our change log will show some July 2026 new feature updates. You can also check out previous month new feature updates as well. But I'll be walking through a little bit more in depth of these 3 updates for our new features for July, as well as a couple other ones that might have just flown under your radar, but are equally important. So we'll talk a little bit about our updated governance and charting, definitely some UI updates within NeuralSeek. Neural edit enhancements have been made for better text and richer HTML editing. And then there's some new Maestro auto enhance updates. I'll give a brief overview of a few of those Maestro auto enhance where we can find them within the platform, because it's been embedded in a few new places now. So give me a moment and I will get our product set up. Oops. Let's resume our share. Hide these floating meeting controls. Let's get us a full screen. So I'm on our testing instance of NeuralSeek. So this will be our staging environment here. Let me see if I can full screen. There we go. Let's resume our share. Okay, now that we got a full screen going, we can better see our NeuralSeek platform. Oops, and I will hide some of these meeting controls. Apologies for the tech here. Just getting back together my screens and in a new environment. So anyways, enough about that. Let's dive into some of these new feature updates within NeuralSeek. I'll start with my current screen. So I do have dark mode enabled. This is a new visual editor that has been refreshed. We have a toggleable dark mode theme, which is available here at the top. This has been refreshed within our Maestro environment as well. Let me kind of clear our current agent screen. So I can toggle on and off this dark mode. We've refreshed the Maestro visual editor, some node canvases, our sidebar, as you can see, all gets enabled within dark mode as well. Charts, code highlighting, the toggle down here at our bottom, so stream or enhance disabled or enabled, right? All of these have been tested and are new to our dark mode theme. And kind of check out what this would look like on our governance platform as well. Dark mode versus light mode. So now this might not be the greatest governance platform just because it is my own testing instance and I don't have quite a bit of semantic insights available here. You usually utilize it for development purposes only. So we'll hop back to governance in just a moment because there are quite a few new updates when it comes to dashboarding within governance. And I do want to get us a really good example. So for the meantime, we're going to stay within Maestro. Typically when we log into Maestro and we click into this tab, we get presented with this original screen that leads us into the AI agent marketplace and or our user agents. We've added a refresh to the AI agent marketplace and it's now available right here alongside our agent editor, our agent NTL marketplace, We do have a visualizer. This has been out with a NeuralSeek for quite some time, along with the registry and the scheduler. So now we can fully access our AI agent marketplace right in here. And as you can see, it shares a lot of similarities to what is available on our website if you use that platform to investigate new agents directly within NeuralSeek as well. But this provides us with a good chance to filter by agent type, filter by categories, and really get a more expansive view on all 245 agents that are available for us to utilize. So all agent types is what I can filter by, or I can filter by NeuralSeek only, ready to use agents, starter template agents, or agents that have been added by our community, right? Different categories as well. So we can search between, community agents that are built for knowledge and RAG. Let's go back to our agent type as all agents. Agents that work within our Neural Edit screen, which has been out for quite a while within NeuralSeek as well. We can also give a refresher on that if needed. But whether that's using Neural Edit for Excel chat to save a Word document, Excel Assistant is considered our starter template, right? Something that you can utilize and then customize for your own build. And the list goes on and on, anywhere from meetings and calls to marketing and sales, multimedia, if you're looking to create a script using AI, image generation, image chatbots, editing, OCR, expanding videos, right? Any multimedia sources that are available within NeuralSeek, we're more easily able to navigate it with our new AI agent marketplace set up directly within NeuralSeek alongside our agent editors. So say guardrails, developer, and NTL, let's just click on one of these agents that says ready to use. I can just click the agent directly from the marketplace and it will populate in my agent editor and my agent NTL. And I can give an overview of what this would look like in dark mode as well. Now let's talk about a few of the new updates that are in our AI agent marketplace when it comes to some new agents that are available for us. So a big one that we have now, and I can search this agent as well. Oops, let's make sure we're on all categories. We'll search for SharePoint. So this is a SharePoint Elastic Sync or a SharePoint NeuralSeek KB Sync. Let's dive into this agent. Recently, we've added a SharePoint background seek with access-aware knowledge-based filtering. So this background SharePoint connector can index documents directly into your NeuralSeek knowledge base, which is a tab here directly within or directly next to the Maestro tab, or within Elasticsearch, which was that other agent that we saw on the marketplace. It can securely index those documents utilizing Azure AD Auth. We can schedule incremental syncs, live progress, stop, cancel support, or unsupported file skipping. So once our SharePoint configuration is connected, tested, and we chose a target sync and schedule, we can go ahead and run our sync now. And there's additional added SharePoint permission capturing during the indexing, so we're more easily able to support access-aware knowledge-based filtering, right? Whether that be scoped documents or certain settings within a SharePoint library that we need to filter by. And then utilizing this agent directly within our marketplace. As you saw, I just went to the AI agent marketplace, started searching for SharePoint, and I have these two starter templates here that will download files from our SharePoint drive, chunk, embed, vectorize them, or directly load them into our NeuralSeek managed KB and ready for use. And this will utilize our SharePoint list files nodes, right? I would need all the credentials directly from my SharePoint account in order to authorize and get started. So that's why this is also labeled a starter agent, because you would need to come in here, customize, and save as your own user agent once you've added in your tenant name, tenant ID, client ID, etc. Right? And then we can see that towards the end of our flow here, once we've started looping through our SharePoint files, done a little bit of regular expression, get them in the right format for us to be able to add them to our NeuralSeek managed knowledge base. which is our node right here, NeuralSeek KB add document. You can see that similarly to how we would index into an Elasticsearch instance and how we can structure that metadata payload that we're sending. We're going to send our file content from SharePoint as our document text. Our title looped object is, we know, a variable that comes within our variable loop nodes. The looped object gives us a few different parameters such as name, count, ID, and we're going to utilize these directly within our NeuralSeek add document node. So that way when we end our loop and we come to our knowledge base, we can visualize and see. This is my own personal example that I was utilizing with some mock data, but we'd be able to see the document ID, the document title directly from our SharePoint drive here in our knowledge base manager. Speaking of knowledge bases, and speaking of titles and document IDs, URLs, I'm going to come over to our neural config before navigating back to a few more updates on the Maestro side. I'm just going to expand my default config. For right now, I'm utilizing a NeuralSeek KB for that one document, and bear with me, this is a test instance. But typically we'd seen with Elasticsearch some support for DQL pushdown filtering. So now this is also supported across Pinecone, Milvus, OpenSearch, and Postgres. So if I was to connect to a Postgres index and or OpenSearch, Milvus, or Pinecone, Elasticsearch, down here where it says selecting our filter fields, this is going to be invalid just because I have not entered in my credentials yet. So what I can do instead is enable advanced schema, and we also support DQL pushdown as our filter field that's available for us. If you need some more information about DQL pushdown, oops, let me hide my floating meeting controls here. All right, y'all, I'm trying to get us back to our documentation. I'm coming over to documentation.neuralseek.com, and there is some information in our data tuning guide under guides and walkthroughs about filtering documentation. DQL pushdown has been an option for discovery users, but no longer because we now support it across a bunch of different knowledge base types as well. So we can click on this external link and it gives us some information directly about the type of parameter language that we would, or the syntax that we would need to make sure that we're filtering properly now that it's supported. Let's full screen again. And moving on, let's navigate a little bit back to Maestro. I know I'm hopping all over, but we do have a few new updates directly within Maestro when it comes to nodes as well. I might have already gone over this node last month, but we'll go over it again as a refresher. So there is a PII redact image node. We know under our guardrails, we can use remove PII or identify PII to identify or remove PII from text. But now we can also utilize it and remove and redact our PII from an image input as well. It uses the PII filters that we have set directly on our governance tab. So let me come back to, or sorry, on our configuration tab. So let's come over to configuration and guardrails. PII is the third option here. So I have all of the PII detectors that are directly out of the box of NeuralSeek enabled. I can also use pre-LLM PII filters. This is a regex that I can include, or LLM-based PII filters to choose to run and allow the LLM to detect our PII and then choose what action to take on them, right? So when those filters are set or those guardrails are set directly within our configure tab, we can then come over into Maestro. I'm going to close this and then select our PII redact image node, and I'll expand these parameters here. So we can either include the base64 encoded image string that's available and to consume into the pipeline, right? We'll OCR over the image and then we will burn black rectangles into the PII that has been found and then output a flattened image file for us. I can also upload an image. I might have one as an example. We'll make sure it's a PNG file. You can also make sure that we can upload an image directly with our file manager that's within NeuralSeek, add additional plain text, add additional regex patterns if we need to redact any additional PII that has not been included in our configured guardrails. We will run the platform's built-in PII detectors against the OCR text. The default here is true, but we can set it to false if we're going to manually add patterns to detect. And then we can also run LLM-based PII detection, and we can set that to true even though our default is false. And additionally, output to a new file. So this one I usually output to resume example redacted.png. This is a mock resume of my work experience. And we'll make sure it's uploaded in our managed files. And then we can redact this PII. I'll run this and I'll expand so we can see that 36 out of the 418 words that were OCR'd were redacted, and I can see what type of PII information was found, anywhere from street address, zip code, my phone number, email address, name, etc. Oops. And with PII redact image, we get a few variables as well, such as the count, if that's needed for dashboarding, governance, logging, right? Our types, as well as the file name, which is what I put as my output file name. We all know that we can go to our file manager, search for our file, and then I can preview this. So quite a few. We got a state down here, up here in my about section. I should have shown the before, but this was my name, email address, phone number, address, right? And then a few other redacted informations around states that I had added, names of places that I'd added as my LLM-based filters. Right? If I can go back. All right. A few new nodes that we also have besides PII image redaction is an EXA search node. So we know with our web search nodes, let's actually navigate to our web search nodes down here, all the way at the bottom. Let me unexpand a few of these so we can better view it. We have, there we go. Let's close Jira as well. Okay. So a few web search nodes down here at the bottom. Let me zoom out. We have a Google search, a Brave search, and now we have an EXA search connector as well. This is something that I personally use internally quite a bit. So I can reach out to EXA API, and I'll need to add in my own EXA API key. Works very similarly to Brave Search, how it's a secure searching platform. So I would need to add in my own API key for validation as well. But then similarly, you can enter in your search query, your search type, any restrictions, or advanced raw JSON that you need to merge into the request body as you reach out to that EXA API. And of course, we have caching available if you need to cache results. So a new node that's available for your own searching. There most likely is a marketplace example of this one as well. REST node had an update. So let me pull up our REST node here. Our REST node, we have a new update to our REST node. As we know, we can add in our header, the URL, what type of call this is going to be, any sort of authorization, message body, TLS certification verification. But now we can add in client certificate for the REST API as well. With handling that's wired through the execution engine. So we can configure the certificate field on a REST node that when we call APIs that maybe require a pinned client certificate for different handlings. So now that's available here down at the very bottom of the REST node. Let me check my notes. As I said, July was a big month, and I know I might be running a little bit over on time, but I just have two more. Let's talk about two more updates for us here. And these are pretty cool ones. So earlier before I had mentioned auto enhance, and we have demoed this before on a previous monthly webinar, but let's say as we start to build out an agent, yeah, we can load this one. As we start to build out an agent, we know that we can start to use this magic wand to improve prompts, either directly within an LLM node, maybe enhance an agent with just a natural language sentence of a description or two. And then we also get the auto enhance. So as we start to build and as we start to run these agents, a magic wand icon would appear here for us, which we can click on. Oops. And it will pop up a description of, maybe I need to run this. We'll pop up a description of what we can do to auto enhance. Sorry, I don't have the correct LLM available for us, but we've showcased this before with auto enhance enabled within Maestro directly. And then a few places that we can click that wonderful magic wand number and auto enhance our prompts. A big part of utilizing LLMs is learning correct prompting when it comes to working with them, right? And how it affects our output. So that magic wand has wonderfully been added here too. When we start to add categories, you can see I have two, one to talk about my NeuralSeek documentation, one to talk about my sports documentation, one to tell me about the weather, that's Maestro led. And then I can also use this magic wand to auto-generate descriptions directly within our NeuralSeek category. This is a great time saver, right, when it comes to thinking of how to write a great description for a certain category, but it's a lot more than that too. The description is heavily utilized within NeuralSeek's routing, right? A proper, accurate, good description will provide us with a better opportunity to route to that section. So here for weather, for example, if I kept it too vague, certain nuanced questions might not route to our weather category like I might need it to. So I can utilize this magic wand description to help me write a better prompt that will ensure better routing within nuanced questions, or as I utilize the tool and utilize multi-agent routing within NeuralSeek in general. So that category description is very helpful with our magic wand. Over in our default config, this will be my last update for today. We'll talk about some LLM details, and I'll show this where to find this on the documentation as well. But they've added support. The team has added support for open source LLM options within our model catalog and configuration. So we know that we can select our LLM node directly here within our default config tab, click add an LLM, and then choose between LLM platforms and models along with our different descriptions. And so I just recommend checking the model selection and configuration list for new open source LLM options. And I will pause my screen share here. And let's navigate back to our one moment. I'm just going to do a quick plug and play for us here. All right. Let's resume our screen share. So NeuralSeek documentation is found at documentation.neuralseek.com. Changelog is where I went to kind of review a few of these updates within NeuralSeek. A bit more coming that have come out in July than what we see here. So feel free to reference the video. It is also being streamed, but walk through the documentation when it comes to looking for directly what my Maestro nodes do, guides and walkthroughs, different models that are supported directly within NeuralSeek as well. integrate platform integrations, supported LLMs, right? NeuralSeek.com is another place that we can reference when it comes to looking at our AI agent marketplace and the different descriptions of the supported agents that are coming out. I know I walked through just a few of the agents that were coming out or that are now supported within our marketplace. So that SharePoint to NeuralSeek KB Manager agent, the SharePoint to Elastic Manager agent, and then a lot of the different community agents that are available as well. Really great place to check those out here within our platform marketplace directly on NeuralSeek.ai or NeuralSeek.com. Same sorts of filters. I can look through my core toolkit, insurance, IT, RevOps, etc. And then go to utilize them within our NeuralSeek platform. As always, navigating from NeuralSeek.com, there's a few different resources that are available. So if you have any further questions about this, please feel free to reach out to the community page. I'm currently not logged into my instance, but it's a free account for you to sign up for. And you can start asking questions, whether it's related to certification spaces, you're currently earning a certification, you're looking to get set up with a certification, any sort of AI fluency training related questions, you can navigate there. Oops. We also have feature requests, general discussions, or if you have any sort of product Q&A discussions, whether it's about your specific instance, about any of the new features that we've gone over here today. I've gone through pretty quickly. There was quite a few features, so if you need a more expansive, in-depth overview, feel free to ask some questions here directly in our community page, and you'll be set up with a NeuralSeek expert. I'll be more than happy to help handle those questions. And I believe that's all from me. So I'm going to end my screen share, check any of the comments, and feel free to reach out, and happy building.